bowline, surgeon's knot in this case. And again, I'm guesstimating that a Hyrax, they look pretty low slung, so I'm going to go with about 2 fingers. So if I can find a little run, I can use my cooler stick to drop in exactly where I want it. This is hard packed around.
Would you have a little rifle to support the team stick at the design height?
Couldn't need it. I'm pretty happy with that. So, other subtleties I've found, and again I don't know with the Dassie, so this is new to me, but I quite like to drop my snare on a slight angle. Certainly works very well with rabbits.
Going from which way to where?
Doesn't really matter. So just from the perpendicular, kick it over. So if my bunny's approaching from this way, it's going to drop behind the ears instantly.
Yeah.
If he's approaching from this way, he'll tend to flick it with his forefeet and drop it behind the ears going the other way. Okay. And if you can read the ground and you can find squats, little compresses, So if there is a trail and you are getting little squat areas, which again I haven't had time to study these things, but certainly rabbits, and these things just look like big fat rock rabbits, ideally drop it directly over a squat or a compress. So this is very similar to you sitting in your favourite armchair and going for a pee. I would categorically guarantee that your right foot hits exactly the same spot as you turn to go up the stairs or go to open the door. And then well used arterial runs, and if you look from where the rocks, you see those classic Hyrax holes, and then they come shooting out in one runway, and they're going from an area of cover because everyone eats these things. When they're in their holes they're quite happy, so when they leave into the bush they're a little bit wary. And usually, certainly with rabbits, and these things seem to do the same, the first thing they do is either go straight to dense cover or straight to a high area where they can sit up and check out, are there any raptors around, are there any foxes around, any other predators kicking about. So you want to hit them on that main arterial run before they sprinter to go to their favourite little trees. And going on the squat, you know exactly where the head's been presented at that point in time. It's going to come through directly above the feet. You never drop a snare on a juncture, so if we had a splitting trail, again I don't know what the foot structures are, but certainly rabbits, hares have articulated wrists like us, so they're very good at manoeuvring on the ground, and they tend to lean their head into a corner if they're moving fast. So if you're laying a snare shortly thereafter, a fork in the trail, you can't guarantee exactly head position, so only ever drop them on long straight runs where it's bounding. These guys climb, so there's a good chance they have fused wrists like a squirrel, which means they're not going to be too nimble on the corners anyway. Anything else? I quite like to tag these up with feathers. It makes finding them a lot faster. The number of times I've been out snaring, and my rule is if I go out with 20 snares, I come home with 20 snares, so if I lose one I'm not going to leave it out working while I'm forgetting about it. So if you're in and you're not on a rock edge or a field boundary, it's really easy to lose them, so I quite like to tag them up with feathers, which the animals are quite used to. It doesn't smell too artificial. Human scent and gleam, people tend to go a little bit overboard on this. I just like to hang my snares outside and they tarnish up really quickly in no time at all. If we